Welcome back, everybody, to the Spiritual Uplevel Podcast. I'm your host, Jeri Cristine, and I am so excited and honored and humbled to have my guest today, Caryn Kusleika. She is an abundant business coach. She is known as that on Instagram. She's a quantum human design specialist. And she is an iron woman, which we were just talking about off camera. I am so humbled and inspired by that. So, Caryn, thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Can you just start off by telling us a little bit about what you do and how you came to do that?
Yes. So, like you mentioned, I go by the Abundant Biz Coach on Instagram. And that is because I am basically a business and life coach. And I really love to help female entrepreneurs, especially with creating an abundant mindset, abundant versus lack. And I got into this, my background. So, I've been a dietitian for 24 years. And through the entire time I've been a dietitian, I realized pretty early on when I was trying to help people lose weight that their mindset had a lot more to do with it than the numbers that I would give them. They would ask me like, "Hey, how many calories do I need to eat, or do I need to focus on, protein or carbs or fat?" And really it had to do with their emotional attachment to food, right? Or, like kind of how they felt. If they felt like they had fallen off the wagon a lot and they had tried a lot of different diets, then I noticed these patterns where maybe they wouldn't be quite as successful. And when I started really addressing the mindset pieces, I noticed they had way more success with the weight loss and keeping it off and creating a whole new identity for themselves, because that's really what it's all about. And then so I was a dietitian and then an endurance coach. As you mentioned, I was in the endurance world, and I really started out wanting to work with athletes with their nutrition. And again, kind of ran into this problem of the weight loss. And so I just wanted to be able to feel qualified to tell them, "Hey, move your body." So I became an endurance coach. And that just, I had no idea what I was in for. It was the most amazing journey of my life. I got to help so many women cross the finish line of their first race. And that just meant so much to me, to help them not only physically, but mentally achieve that. Um, at the same time, I went through a divorce myself. And that's when I really found personal growth in terms of books and YouTube videos is kind of where it started. And so by really blending all of those together in 2017, I got my first life coaching certification. It was the Robbins Madonna's training. And since then I've gotten like probably 7, because I had a little bit of imposter syndrome along the way there. And really started working full time as a life coach in 2020. And 2021 started working for Tony Robbins as a life coach. So that's kind of how I got to where I am today. But I've worked with over 400 people and just got to really help them. I like to think I'm an energy shifter. I like to help people really, they're going to feel better when they get off the call than when they got on the call. And when we shift your energy, then you have so much more clarity about what you want. And it's so much easier to set goals and then actually achieve those goals when you feel more confident and you show up more empowered in yourself. So,
I love that you talked about energy and mindset because I tell my clients also, I can tell you how to do it all day long. You're not going to do it until you change your mind and the energy that you bring to that. It
right,
has to be in alignment or it's not going to change at all.
right. I actually say I call it a Karenism. The energy behind the action is more important than the action. So I always remind people that it's like the energy that you do things in is actually 80% of the result that you get. So
Yes.
20% is the action you take, 80% is how you feel and what your mindset is about it.
That is so good. So 20% is the results or what you do, 80% is the energy.
Yep, that's
That's
right.
awesome. That's so good. So, how do you blend? I'm going to get back to the female entrepreneur part because I love that because that is me. But how do you blend like the Tony Robbins style business coaching with your more energetic, intuitive stuff that you also do?
I love that because, going into working for Tony, I was kind of a closet intuitive spiritual person. Like I always really felt connected to that. And yet I almost felt like I had to hide it, that people would not like, would make fun of me or, whatever that was. There was kind of just this, again, I don't know if you call it imposter syndrome. And so when I started working for Tony, he definitely works on the energy component as well. He called it state management, so it's a slightly different. It's a little more logical, and then of course, then we set goals, and we achieve those goals. We have the accountability piece. But what was really cool is a lot of the clients I would get, they would be into the energy and they would be asking me stuff. And so then it would just naturally, like I naturally attracted the people who had those same beliefs, and I found myself being able to guide them super easily. And so then that really helped me feel more confident and step even more into the work that I'm doing now. So
That's awesome. We definitely attract who we are, right? We attract the right people. And also, I think more people are becoming interested in it.
yes.
I had the same imposter syndrome when I started the podcast was a huge movement out of the imposter syndrome because now I'm like telling everybody this is who I am and what I do, take it or leave it. And so many people who I thought would never be interested or would be judgy about it are interested in it because it works. So I
Hmm.
love that you're bringing that to goal setting, goal achieving
Hmm.
and combining the whole thing.
Hmm.
So let's go back to female entrepreneurs. I I just love that. I have a special place in my heart for female entrepreneurs
Me
because
too.
I am one and I know the struggles and I know how we can get burned out. And you said like you like to help them create an abundance mindset.
Hmm.
I think a lack mindset is common. I know that is something that I still to this day struggle with because when you're an entrepreneur, you eat last. Like your employees get paid, everything else gets paid, and then you eat last. And so sometimes that feels really challenging and really hard. How did
Hmm.
you come to work with female entrepreneurs and why is this your heart as well?
Well, again, I am one as well. So I have been growing my business. And again, just through all the work that I've done, over the last 4 years. And I think even in the endurance world as well, a lot of those athletes tended to be entrepreneurs, female entrepreneurs as well, or very ambitious women, right?
Sure,
So
yeah, they're drivers, right? Yeah.
maybe not specifically entrepreneurs, but definitely ambitious women. And I what I noticed is this overwhelm that a lot of women experience, and kind of this belief that they have to take care of things. And especially when it comes to business, we kind of set this idea out there that, oh, well, you have to, you really have to over deliver for your clients, for your customers, which is very true. But what I like to show them is we can do that in a more empowered way. And when you show up empowered, when you actually put yourself first and you show up prioritizing yourself and especially prioritizing your health and reigniting your health and doing the things that you love, then you start to attract like a higher level client that, again, like you mentioned, you attract what you are. And so that client's going to not have those expectations in terms of it's easier for you to set your boundaries, number one, but we teach you to set them in the first place, right? So a lot of what I like to do is work on leadership skills, and that's aligning you with your mission, your vision, your values, getting really clear on what your values are. And then when you put that out there, you can attract a team that has those same values. And I was just like on a call, for example, the other day with one of my clients, and she was talking about how she was hiring this consultant, and the type of work that the consultant did was really hard to come by. which is, again, is kind of the scarcity mindset. And so what we did was we really flipped things around to help her recognize, like, hey, if she really puts out there the benefits that she can offer from her work, she can attract that higher level consultant, that's going to really want to work for her. Sometimes you have to like maybe pay them a little bit more money, right? That can be part of it, but it can also be some other benefits that you can offer them, and just aligning with your own values and your own mission and your own vision. That's how you attract your team to you. And then you show up empowered, right? So you empower yourself, then you empower your team, which then you create this beautiful energy where your team can actually like do the work better than you can. And that's actually a belief that I teach people to create. Like, what if you truly believed, what if we got into the energy of the fact that you could attract a team that was better at it than you are? How would that
Yeah.
feel? Right? You would have total trust. You'd be able to sleep at night. You'd be able to have the freedom to do the things that you actually love, which is why we go into business, right? We go into
Yeah.
business usually for the freedom. And then if you never build the team, if you never build the systems, you're not free. You end
Yeah.
up having to do all the work. So,
Absolutely. If you're the person, you only have so much capacity. But if you
mhm,
can leverage yourself with people who are better than you, which is the key in entrepreneurship, then the sky's the limit because you can
right,
just keep growing that team.
exactly.
That's so good. I know another thing that you mentioned you use in your work is human design. Can
Mhm.
you explain to the audience in your words, what is human design and how do you use it in coaching, ambitious people?
Yes. Oh my gosh, I love human design so much. So interestingly, just to share, I had a human design reading, or I looked into it about in 2020, and I did not resonate with it at all. It didn't make sense to me. It was way too complicated. Didn't want anything to do with it. And then last year, it was about 18 months ago now, I manifested a reading like on a call, and they basically put my human design up in this mastermind group and proceeded to tell me all about myself for like 45 minutes. And I was like, oh my gosh, like you have spoken to my secret soul. Like I could not believe the things that they were telling me. And so then, and I learned this about my human design. My profile is a 5-1, and the first line is actually an investigator. So they go down the rabbit holes, they learn all the details. And so that's exactly what I did with human design. I ended up like digging and, trying to find out as much as I possibly could about it. And then I ended up getting a certification in it because there really just isn't a lot of information out there. And I really wanted to help other people because it's just such a beautiful way to understand yourself. I just did a reading yesterday with a woman, and it's just my favorite thing ever is when they're like, oh my gosh, like that just resonates so deeply. And they usually will say, it's things that I've always really known about myself, but it just really confirmed it. And for me, that's what gave me the confidence to speak even more, to, share even with you here today, right? It really helped me find my voice, was learning about my human design. And so I use that now to help my client. I love to give people readings, and I actually I'm known to give people mini readings. So I do them for free, just like 5 minutes. If you message me your date of birth, time of birth, and place of birth, just to kind of help you understand, like, what is your type, what is your strategy, what is your authority. But I like to go do the deep dive readings as well. And I love to coach people using their human design. So I definitely do that with like all of my clients now. And the way that we do that is I help them understand like the best way that they're meant to make decisions. What part of your energy can you really trust? A lot of people have an open head and an open ajna, and that your head is your energy of your thoughts, and your ajna is like your ideas and your beliefs. And if you have both of those open, you're going to be an overthinker. You're going to really be pondering things, because you're taking in all this energy from other people. And so it's just really helpful to have somebody to say, like, all right, what's your gut saying? Drop your energy, ground yourself, tell me what is your gut. And the other thing, what I really discovered about human design, which is so valuable for coaching, is most of us we need to respond to something, right? And so to be the person to say, this is what you just told me, how do you feel about that? Giving your client something to respond to is really helpful for a lot of us in providing clarity and just helping people understand themselves more deeply and feeling more confident. So,
Wow, you're making me want to have a reading. I know some
yes.
about human design. I know my type, but
Uh-huh.
I've never had a deep dive reading, and that's interesting. Very cool.
What is your type? Just out of curiosity.
Um, Manifesting generator.
Awesome. Yes. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. I've done, and it's interesting to see how it plays, with the kids. So, um very cool. I love that you do that. So you integrate in your coaching energy work, manifestation techniques. You're also NLP master practitioner,
Mhm.
correct? And physical health and wellness practices and human design. You like kind of have the whole
I
entire
know.
gamut.
I tell you, yes, it's so fun because, again, the energy is what I'm passionate about. It's what I think about all the time. It's what I really love to help people do is, really shift their energy and help them raise their vibration. And then from there, yeah, we've got all the stuff. And so that's why I'm super excited about this group that I'm started because I've got the business end of it where I can really help people grow their business, and then I'm going to help them train for whatever distance race they want to train for and create this community of, runners. So
Wow, I love that. So you're taking your past business and your current business and combining it into a group. So this
yeah.
is going to be group coaching.
Mhm. It is.
Okay.
Yep, it's gonna be 6 months, and we'll have, like, a 12-week framework with the leadership skills. So again, think values, think, mission and vision, and just learning how to get clear on your decision making, and then building systems for your business, and really attracting those A players, like you talked about, the people that can really run your business better than you can. And then I'm gonna provide, training plans so that you can run whatever distance race feels great for you to cross that finish line and prioritize your health. And I'm just mostly excited for like the community that we're creating. And really, it's going to be a movement. I feel like it's going to be a movement that's going to change the way female entrepreneurs view themselves and view entrepreneurship by way of I want more female entrepreneurs to prioritize themselves and prioritize their health and watch their business flourish when they do that.
Wow, that is beautiful. And I mean, that needs to happen. I know for myself, when my business started getting really big, I started getting really big. Like
Mhm.
I went from being a marathon runner to not being a marathon runner because I didn't have time, and business, we glitched. I have to edit this part. We had a little glitch there. But business, it was, my priorities became business, my family, myself.
Right.
And maybe there are some other things above myself, because everything had to happen. So I love that you're coaching people to do that. So
Yeah.
I normally ask this question towards the end, but since we're talking about what you're doing, how can people reach you if they want to know more about that?
Yeah. Great. So again, you can catch me on Instagram, the Abundant Biz Coach, or Facebook by my name, Caryn Kusleika, and message me. And then we can just set up a strategy session to learn more. I don't actually have a website. I'm one of those that I kind of do things as I go. And so eventually, I will build that website. But for now, I'm just focused on getting this group up and going and helping more people with the group.
I think that's an important thing that you mentioned too for female entrepreneurs is I think so often people get stuck because they feel like certain things have to happen in a certain order instead of
Mhm,
just listening to themselves or like, what does your gut say? What
mhm,
is the next thing that comes up that makes sense that you should do today? And
mhm.
the world is changing. It's changing energetically. A lot of our systems business is changing, and it's not going to change if we keep doing like we have to. Like, who said you have to have a website? Eventually you'll probably want a website for your community.
Yeah.
However, you've been coaching for years without
Mhm.
one.
Exactly. And that is one of the things that I've noticed with the female entrepreneurs that I work with, or a lot of entrepreneurs in general, is it's not, or not even just entrepreneurs, but like, let's say you're writing a book, or let's say, whatever you're doing, you spend so much time like writing the book, but the whole time you want to be marketing yourself, because again, I mentioned like 80% is energy, 80% is actually marketing as well when it comes to promoting what it is that you're selling. And so I always coach my authors to, okay, you decided I'm going to write this book, put that out there. Let people know, like, and bring people along for the ride. Talk about how hard it is to write the book. Talk about, how it feels to have someone else read it for the first time and have things edited, have like a launch party and when you think it's going to be launched. And then you've like brought your audience along with you, and that there's interest in it. So that's the other thing that I think is important, rather than, building something and trying to make it perfect before you sell it. Test the market, see what's out there, see what is really interesting people, and like tweak it and build it as you go.
So one of the things that I say often is done is better than perfect.
Hmm.
However, I still struggle with feeling like it has to be perfect before I put it out there. And you kind of hit on this just now and earlier, is telling people what you're doing, putting it glitch. Okay. Um, so putting it out there, having a voice, and not being afraid to tell people who you are, what are your values, what you stand for, what you're looking for. And off camera, or I think on camera, you mentioned imposter syndrome.
Hmm.
Is That is something that I struggle with. Like,
Hmm.
I want to do all the things. I just don't want to always tell people about it, because God forbid somebody that I don't even know on Facebook might judge me, or
Hmm.
somebody that I know on Facebook but don't respect.
So
How do
part
you move your people past that?
Well, I love that you asked that, because your human design.
This dang connection. Gosh.
I can hear you. You're just kind of frozen. I'm
Okay.
gonna take a little picture of you too. Okay, so I got sidetracked there, but I love that you asked that, because I like to use human design to help people understand that. So you mentioned that, can you hear me? Woohoo!
Gosh.
We're
Sorry about this. This is crazy.
back.
Uh, okay, so
Yep.
with answering that question.
The mindset stuff. So, a couple things. Number one, imposter syndrome is a mindset, right? There's a certain thing that you're focused on when you feel it. It's really just fear. And one of the things, and it's funny that I even said it myself, because we're our own best coaches, right? Is I tell my clients, don't even use the word, like just recognize it for what it is. It's really just fear, right? And then you can recognize, like, what am I focused on and what can I focus on? Right. And just really practicing, like bringing in more confidence, bringing in more certainty. I love to use human design for that. As a manifesting generator, for example, a lot of manifesting generators struggle with letting people know what it is that they're going to do. They have lots and lots of ideas. That's part of your energy. And your strategy is actually to inform before you start initiating things. But I think that, again, when we were kids, when we were in school, maybe, or, just through the experiences that we've had, you've been kind of taught like, I don't want to tell people because number one, they're going to rain on my parade. Or what if I don't finish everything that I've started? Right. And so some of these limiting beliefs that you might have that I could dig down into when I see your chart, and I can help you overcome those and help you understand like, oh, this is why I'm feeling this way. And how can I change that? Just really reframing and kind of bridging to the mindset piece of it to help you move forward. And then of course the accountability piece. And I also really love to just take on the attitude, when we're kids, we get in trouble for the things we do wrong. When we go to school, we get graded on what's right and wrong. When we work for a company, we also get evaluated on if we're doing things right or wrong. So we really have this mindset of perfection, right? Of this like, oh, there is a right or wrong way to do things. When you're an entrepreneur, there isn't. It's kind of like you got to test different things. You got to try and see what works. You want to lean in and figure out what works for you, what feels
Yeah.
best to you. And especially if you have an open ego with human design, you're going to look for a lot of external validation. You're going to be focused on what other people want, rather than yourself. So it's just really training yourself with all the tools to, bring it in, step into your own power, get really clear on what is it that I want. And then as a group or to have a coach, have that person that can really help you move forward and not only hold you accountable, but also like celebrate you every step of the way and just help you understand that you're not alone. Like we all go through this. So.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, that's really good. So that reminds me of the law of attraction as well. Like putting it out there attracts the right people. And so you had mentioned how the law of attraction influences success in life and business. And is that kind of what you mean? Like putting it out there, putting out your true self, not trying to be somebody that you're not or who you think you should be,
Mhm.
but putting out your true self, and that attracts to you
Mhm.
exactly what you are looking for and what
You
you need.
become magnetic. Absolutely. When you get really clear on who you are, number one, and you know what it is that you want. And again, I'm going to use human design again because I love it. Um, for a lot of us, it's the sacral energy. And your sacral energy is all about what am I passionate about? What do I desire? What am I turned on by? It's our sexual energy as well, right? What am I tuned in, tapped in, turned on by? And that's really what we want. That's what we want to align to and really express to people, right? Get really clear on what it is that we want. And it's a response. So like when things show up for you, you're attracting it to you. You have a huge open aura and you're attracting all these things to you. And you're really just meant to be like, ooh, ooh, yeah, yeah, I like that, right? Or ooh, nope, I don't. And that's really how we're meant to like go through life. And when we do that, again, you become magnetic, you become radiant, especially when you attach this voice to it and you get really clear, like, this is what I want. These are what my boundaries are. This is who I want to be. This is the type of people that I want to attract to myself. All those things your voice is very powerful and you just, it's really easy to create the life that you really want to create when you align yourself with all of that. So.
Oh, wow. I feel like everybody needs to talk to you, Caryn. Hopefully you get some more clients from this podcast. I mean, if everybody just could be in that space where they know who they are, they're not afraid to say it, and, they're putting it out there, and then life is just bringing to us. It sounds so magical.
That's my dream. I really would love to impact like 30 million female entrepreneurs and help them create the life of their dreams. Because when we, like, as women, really step into our power, we are really clear on what we want. it actually heals a lot. It heals the world, right?
Yeah.
Like we raise the collective consciousness of the planet. So,
Yeah, absolutely. It's so important to be doing this work and to be finding your healing so that you can, be the light that sparks somebody else's light that, eventually 30 million people have been impacted and their light shining. That's a
yeah.
beautiful dream.
Thank you.
So, Caryn, this has been such a fun conversation. I could talk to you for days. We're going to have to continue this conversation. I have two questions for you before we end. First, what is one book that you would recommend that all of our listeners read?
I love that. Um, Gosh, I've read so many. And kind of a deeper one that really got me started like thinking more deeply is The Four Agreements
I love
by
that one.
Don Luis Miguel. I think that's his name.
Yeah, I think Don Luis Miguel.
Yes, and I actually have those four agreements on my mirror in my bedroom, and I live by those every day. But I would say that that book really like opened my mind and just really helped me understand like, wow, there's so much more to life than what we see it as. Like there really is the Matrix when you think of the movie The Matrix, right?
Yeah.
And any of the I really love any of the badass books, like you are a badass, you're a badass with money, any of those Jen Sincero. Depends on, again, your the type that you love. And then the other one, again, this one's kind of deep too, but really resonates with me is any sort of Abraham Hicks books.
Mhm.
Um, or Esther and Jerry Hicks, The Law of Attraction is kind of one of those. So yeah, all of that just really helps you understand that we are energy, which we learned in high school, right? In high school physics, it everything is energy and energy is everything, including our body. Our bodies are 300 trillion cells of energy, and all the law of attraction really is it's talking about energy. And so if we apply that to our thoughts, we apply that to our words, we apply that to our actions, it does become magical. You start really attracting some things. Sometimes I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy.
But that's how life is supposed to be. And I love that you brought that up. I like, I am fascinated by the fact that everything that we see in our world as physical is just, energy. It's just
Mhm.
little atoms and protons vibrating at a certain frequency. It's energy and sound. And if we all understood that, I think the world would be a different place.
Well, I think we're heading in that direction, which is so exciting for me. And you alluded to that earlier, that more and more people are really starting to want to understand themselves more deeply. And I feel like personal growth is kind of one of the portals, right, to that metaphysical, more deeper understanding. And again, I'm not an astrologist, but I've been learning more about it, especially since I've been learning human design. And that's kind of what they're talking about in astrology, that the planet Pluto has moved. And so we're entering this new era where it's going to be more about self-expression. It's going to be more energetically. And and I even just saw a video, forget the name of it, but it's Elon Musk has now created something that he put on someone's brain, basically. And I watched this video of this guy playing Mario Kart with his brain.
Yeah.
So I think like all of that is coming. And so I think that this is kind of just the pathway there is people really wanting to find that deeper meaning with themselves, wanting to heal their traumas, heal their
Yeah.
wounds, heal their relationship with their negative emotions and understand themselves more deeply. And then because it's really what you perceive to be true is what's true. So if we want to create a better world, we all need to project peace onto the world.
Yes. Yes. Project peace, love, joy, and turn off the news,
Hmm.
turn off the
Yeah.
fear mongering. Absolutely.
Yep. And make yourself happy inside. Because when you're happy, then again, you radiate that happiness. So
Oh, absolutely. What is one thing that you wish everyone in the world knew?
Oh, wow. Just everything that we've been talking about. And that is that we are energy, that you have the ability to create anything that you want. When I was 6 years old, I was sitting there playing Barbies on my patio. And for some reason, I remember this. Was holding this Barbie and I just decided, like, how come I'm not one of the people that gets to have whatever she wants? Like, how come I'm not one of the people that will ever, like, have a ton of money or have, the, the fortunes and all these things. And, you know, of all the books that I've read, everything that I've learned throughout my life, that is not true. Like, you can literally create whatever you want if you want to do the work to really understand who you are and to create the beliefs. I like to call it the scaffolding, right? To really create the energy for yourself and, decide what that is and take the action to get it. So,
I feel like that wraps up this podcast very well because I feel like everything that you're doing and talking about is really an invitation to anyone and your clients to remember that they can create the life that they want, whatever it is.
yeah. For sure. And I want more people to know that and to experience that. I want to create that experience for people so that they can just be like, wow, this is amazing.
I think you really are going to touch 30 million
Thank
female
you.
entrepreneurs. You're going to touch more people than that. I absolutely love it. I am so grateful that I had the opportunity to interview you. One day I'm going to say, I knew her. I
Thank you. You're
got
so
to meet
sweet.
her. Thank you so much for being here today, Caryn.
Thank you so much. And thank you for inviting me to be on your podcast. And I love everything that you're doing. Like, how cool that you're the bridge to help people, understand spirituality and help them gain their confidence in stepping into that level of their life. So
Yeah, that's really
awesome.
my mission and my purpose as well. So
Very
thank you for
beautiful.
that.
It's so great to meet you.
You too.
Thank you.